Hello, and welcome to a film essay on The Body Remembers When the World Broke Open. In this film essay, I will be exploring and detailing the visual and contextual aspects surrounding the film since its debut on screen in 2019.
The film is inspired by an experience that I had in the same neighborhood where the film takes place. And I encountered a young indigenous woman who was fleeing violence at home, and she was pregnant and literally standing barefoot in the rain in the winter in Vancouver.
The interview that was just shown sees the two co-directors of this film, Ella Mayel Tailfeathers and Kathleen Hepburn, speak on how the origin of this story came to be. The real-life implications that happened to Tailfeathers and this mysterious indigenous woman who she encountered was a key part that she wanted to emulate throughout the film by making the audience see the harsh lifestyle that the main character, Rosie, was going through. The added performance that Tailfeathers gave as the other female lead, Alia, just goes to show how deeply realistic she wanted her experience to play out on screen. While saying this, the film explores themes such as domestic abuse and violence, poverty, and the marginalization of indigenous people. It also shares the bond that the two women form and how it expresses the strength and resiliency of indigenous women and their ability to overcome adversity. The film embodies numerous amounts of filming techniques and elements throughout its story, as it was very effective in creating a sense of tension and unease due to in large part through the execution of close-up shots, possessing tight framing, utilizing handheld camera movements, and having natural lighting. This style of approach can ultimately provoke the viewer into believing as if they're actually witnessing the events unfold. Carmen Cree reviews this same notion within her article, as she stated that the frequent close-ups of their faces, Rosie and Alia, capture thoughts and emotions too nuanced to see from far away, encouraging empathy for women who are often unseen and who also shield themselves and their scars from the world. Another aspect to emphasize was how much the film was made in real time. Since the utilization of the long take and the absence of cutouts throughout different scenes in the film created a more in-depth perspective on what each woman was feeling both emotionally and physically. The camera work can often be seen following both characters as they go about their encounters within their day. This allows for the audience to have close, intimate proximity, as stated by Cree, which can ultimately make audiences recognize the complexity and the discomforts that are ever present within their humanity. Peter DeBrig also agrees with this sentiment, as he claims that the single-take conceit makes it feel as if the threat of Rosie's boyfriend is real and ready to burst in at any point, but emphasizes the upsetting fact that there's no quick solution to her problem. Rather than calling attention to the sadistic abuse that most likely occurred off-screen to Rosie, the film focuses instead on Alia's impulse to be helpful in Rosie's dire situation. This can also be a reflection towards the camera work for how agitated and critical some of the shots when filmed, since it relates to the film's essence of authenticity and activism. The representation of indigenous culture was truly displayed within the film, as it took a look into both women's perspectives towards their different faiths, which was an evident part towards the film's core storyline that helped to highlight the story of hope and how Rosie and Alia could both heal from their traumas and seek love and acceptance from one another through their connectivity and differences amongst their cultures. The scene in which Rosie is reminded about her grandmother's favorite song as she begins to listen to the calming track can be considered a striking suspension of the moment, as quoted by Sarah Ty Black, since it is expressed that the film is mostly shot in real time. Continuing on with Black's opinion, she also writes that the film crafted a multitudinous reality of past and present, absent and material, a world-affirming space of narrative realization that speaks to those who exist within the efforts and now of survival. By stating this, Black wants the audience to truly understand these differences of privilege and the ways in which violence and trauma map itself onto bodies, specifically the bodies of indigenous women such as Rosie and Alia. It is also quite interesting that the film title was borrowed from a Driftpile Cree Nation author, Billy Ray Belcourt, as he also contains a similar theme of thought that both women have within the film, which is, I am trying to figure out how to be in this world without wanting it, and perhaps that is what it is to be indigenous. To be indigenous is also to be hurt on the way out, if the way out is crowded by the past's razor-sharp edges. The intricacy of this statement is also what the co-directors were ultimately trying to share, as indigenous women have gone through many battles that tested their strength and adversity. So in final thought, The Body Remembers When the World Broke Open has certified itself as a powerful film that invoked an intriguing perspective that created a dimensional and layered portrait towards themes such as trauma, healing, and resiliency, and has helped to progress and also grow the canon of indigenous cinema within Canada.